This is International Boxing News, and I have the pleasure to be joined by Maisey Courtney. Maisey, how are you today, mate?
I'm good, how are you?
Perfect, I'm very well, thank you. Before we kind of get into your debut as the co-main event to Katie Taylor a few months back as well, I'd like to go through your amateur achievements as well, if that's okay. So, you're a 6-time national amateur champion, also the first female to box out of Repton, and the first female to box out of the Matchroom Gym. How does it feel to kind of accomplish these goals so early in your career, but then also you're also making history along the way? That must be quite special.
Yeah, it's pretty cool. Being one of the first females to box out of Repton and being the first female to box out the Matchroom Elite Gym, it's accomplished, do you know what I mean? It's an accomplishment, and I'm grateful really to be given that opportunity and to have people like believe in me, do you know what I mean? And that people, I don't know, it's mind blowing, do you know what I mean? That people believe in me to let me be that person to do it, because I'm still only young in this sport. I've only, I don't know, it's nuts really.
Yeah, I was going to say, so obviously Tony Sims' gym is kind of widely regarded as one of, if not the best gyms in the country to train out of. Is it more the fact that kind of you've got not only Tony Sims, but the people come with it, John Ryder, Figures Cash, Conor Ben? Is it also those people believing in you as well, Eddie Hearn as well, or putting you on the shows? Is it that as well? Those people believe in you?
I like to think so. I hope so. I like to think so, but yeah, I think I push so hard. You know what I mean? I train and I try and everything so hard, and I don't see myself as a lesser only because I'm a woman. Like, I train as hard as the fellas. Push myself as hard. Like, even though if I'm 2 minutes behind them on the triangle or halfway down the hill because I can't run as fast, I'm still there and I'm still doing it. Do you know what I mean? And then that's the difference. That's what shows. Do you know what I mean? Like the different, I don't know, want and the different pedigree. But yeah.
Perfect. I think as well, female boxing or women within boxing at this time, it can be a better time to turn over professional. Was that obviously on the rise? We started off the year with Taylor Serrano, hopefully number one. Was that kind of part of the reason that you wanted to turn over professional now with the rise of women's boxing?
A little bit, yeah. I saw people turning over and it kind of shocked me. There was a few people turning over and I'm like, God knows that they've done that, do you know what I mean? If all due respect, but yeah, I see there was people getting hyped and people getting excited about female boxing. I've never seen that before. Do you know what I mean? Literally in 2012, women have never boxed in the Olympics before. And that's only 10 years ago. And that's not a long time ago. And now people are excited. Like Katie Taylor, people are excited to watch her. She's selling at arenas, and Clarissa Shields and Savannah Marshall sold out the O2. It's nuts. Do you know what I mean? I'd be silly to not turn over now.
Yeah, perfect. And obviously you kind of go over, you turn over professional. And obviously there's a lot of noise about yourself and George Lillard. Obviously I first saw you and George kind of training on Tony Sims' Instagram stories and things like that. Kind of, how did it feel? So you said it's a nice feeling when people like Tony Sims and Kevin Mitchell believing in you, but how did it feel kind of first training, then walking through the doors for the first time? How was that?
A little bit scary. Do you know, all it was, it felt the exact same when I first went down to Repton, do you know what I mean? There's such a name around it all, and you always want to make sure you're doing your best and make sure that you perform and get people believing in you and just be yourself really. Do you know what I mean? I know George would say the same thing, that he's got so much to give and so much to show and so much heart and passion that you just want to do it. And so it's more nervous on that side of that part of it, do you know what I mean? But yeah, you've got the best people watching you at all times. It's going to be a little bit scary.
Is there kind of anything that kind of, obviously the guys in the gym who, from anywhere from George to kind of say John Ryder, who's at the top of his game, challenging Canelo hopefully in his next fight, is there anything kind of any advice that they gave you like when you first started in the gym, or is it just kind of be yourself and then the rest will show?
Yeah, just be yourself really. Like obviously they give you tips and tricks and that. They all do, everyone does to each other, do you know what I mean? Like their little ideas of how things work and what they do differently or whatever, but they all support you and all, do you know what I mean? They're all looking after you really.
Perfect. And obviously it's fight night, or should I say your fight night nearly started a day early with I think one of the weirdest face-offs that I've ever seen in my life. Kind of, How that obviously that's your first time weighing, your first time doing a face off the night before. Was it a bit of a strange experience? I mean, it was a strange experience me watching it on the live stream.
Do you know what? I've never been more confused in my whole life. I was standing there and I was like, oh bless her, do you know what I mean? Like, whatever, I just want it over and done with, if I'm honest with you. That's like a Gatorade or whatever. And she touched my skin and I was like, and I laughed because I was like, what on earth is going on? Like, why are you touching me? Do you know what I mean? And then because I laughed, she pushed me. And then obviously I went flying because my legs, do you know what I mean, were a little bit ooh, or whatever. And then I don't know what she was saying, I don't know what she was moaning. She was moaning about something and I was like, oh. And then she shook my hand straight away because I looked at her and I was like, what are you playing at? You know, like, shook my hand straight away. And then, yeah, after the fight she was praising, do you know what I mean? She was like, you're a good fighter, all of this, but.
I feel like that the way that there was a moment in that face off where like kind of I saw like your face change when she pushed you, like, right, the joke's on, and then you kind of towered over her and then stared at her as if, right, you're getting it tomorrow. And then it got to fight night, and obviously you were afloat on the card, which is always obviously I'm not a boxer myself, but I imagine it's a little bit difficult when you go into a fight night knowing that you potentially might not be on the card, but then you managed to get the co-main event spot to Katie Taylor. I mean, what was that like?
If I'm honest, it's still kind of surreal, do you know what I mean? And yes, I was in the venue from like 2 o'clock. So I was 3 o'clock. I was wrapped up from like 4, and I didn't box until like 9:30. So I was in the venue for a long time. But if I'm honest, it didn't feel like that long. I was like watching the boxing and enjoying myself and getting the feel of it. And I was going to be on last, so I was definitely going to box. I was either going to be on before the bell or on last. Then no one got knocked out and before the bell, so I was like, got a long wait. And yeah, they come up the stairs and I was just chilling watching the boxing, and then I was like, alright, you've got 3 minutes to get ready. I was like, okay. I was like, alright, no worries, put the gloves on. I think I hit the pads for about 30 seconds and just went straight out. I didn't have enough time to process it, do you know what I mean? So I didn't really have enough time to get panicked, have enough time to make it real, you know? And I walked out and I saw one of my best mates standing at the walkway and I looked straight up and I sod that, I ain't looking at her because he's just gonna freak me out, do you know what I mean? And then I just walked straight out and just enjoyed it, really.
I was going to say, you definitely did enjoy yourself. I mean, you come out kind of hand slow, great shot selection as well. I thought it was a very impressive debut. I think I tweeted that it was a spiteful performance as well.
Thank you.
Kind of, also, that was Katie Taylor's under the co-main event for Katie Taylor. Kind of talk to me about, you touched on it before there in 2012, kind of Katie Taylor being the pioneer. Kind of, what is it not only to put turnover pressure, but turnover pressure on Katie Taylor's undercard as the
Yeah, crazy. Like, didn't expect it really, obviously, like, expected to box after her, but I'm very grateful because she debuted there as well, didn't she? Like 4 years ago, 5, 6, whatever it is. And to say that I debuted at the same place as Katie Taylor debuted on the undercard of Katie Taylor as the co-main event to Katie Taylor, it's nuts. I'm lucky, I'm very, very lucky.
How many times have you repeated that sentence to yourself, kind of in the mirror, just the co-main?
Do you know what? It's a bit of a mouthful. I think maybe once or twice. I can't do it after the 3rd time.
Perfect. And then, kind of, as I said, spiteful debut, very impressive. You had everyone on Twitter talking about you. Kind of, how do you look back on that performance, or is there anything kind of, obviously, I know most boxers I speak to, kind of their own worst critic. Kind of, how do you look back on that performance?
It was alright. I could have done a bit better. Do you know what I mean? But I don't know. It was only 4 rounds. 4 rounds go so quickly, and I felt my legs were a little bit dead. I think it could have been the waiting around as well, but my legs were a little bit dead, and I was just like, I think, just like stayed at one pace a little bit. But yeah, like I've hurt her a few times in there, but everyone always wants to knock them out, don't they, on their debut? But I think I did alright, yeah.
You definitely did as well, and now looking forward, obviously, you kind of see a lot of female fighters kind of moving fairly quickly within the professional ranks, obviously, especially those with kind of some amateur pedigree. How quickly would you like to be moved in the professional ranks?
If I could box for a world title now, I would, but it's a little bit silly, you know what I mean? But yeah, just take my time really. I'm not here to be rushed. I'm 22. All the people that are holding world titles are easily over 30. So so there's no point me rushing. But if I get a chance to take off, like to box for a world title, I will. But as long as my team knows that or believes that it's the right time, then I'll do it.
Perfect, definitely. And my final question, Maisey, what does boxing mean to you?
Oh, everything. Everything. It's all I've ever done, really. You know, like I started boxing at 7, 8, like nearly 8, and I work in boxing. I work for Darren Barker at 12-3 Boxing. Everything I do is boxing. Every time I close my eyes, I see boxing. Every time I open my eyes, I see boxing. So, yeah, that's it. Made for it, really.
Perfect. Maisey Rose Courtney, thank you for talking to International Boxing.
Thank you.